Race and ethnicity is a challenge the world is facing today. In Mexico, this is a prominent issue that affects the population daily. The difference between race and ethnicity is that race are biological traits, while ethnicity are cultural practices. The races percentages in Mexico are 9% white, 60% mestizo, 30% indigenous, and 1% other races. Mestizo is the most prominent race in the country, which is a mixture of European and indigenous traits. The impact of this race in the country is also seen in the ethnic groups, since this race has adopted a culture that mixes European and Mexican practices. Actually, there are 56 ethnic groups registered in the country. The largest group is the Nahuatl, with at least 1.7 million people. Then there are the Mayans, with other 1 million people. Some examples of smaller ethnic groups are the Zapotecs, Totonacs, Purépechas, and Tarahumaras.
The terms race and ethnicity are often confused. This confusion leads to discrimination and racism to the indigenous groups in Mexico. This mistreatment is the cause of a very big problem in Mexico, that is, the loss of pride for their roots. These people leave behind their culture and family in search for a better life, but end up in a city without job and full of discrimination.
Race and ethnicity have a social impact because they are the main cause for discrimination and people getting treated differently. There are various ethnic groups. For example, the main ethnic group in Mexico are the mestizos, which are a mixture of European and indigenous cultures. They are 60% of the country. The other group are the indigenous people. For example, the Mayans, the people that talk Nahuatl and Spanish. Those are their languages, and they have their own culture, they have their own traditions, and they have their own rituals. This is still an issue, even though Mexico forms part of the United Nations International Convention of Elimination of all forms of racial discrimination.
An organization that's working to tackle this issue is Fundación Patrimonio Indígena MX, which is directed by Miguel Bosé and Alejandro Soberón. Their purpose is to help the indigenous Mexican patrimony grow and develop. One program they did and that is still working is the CNI, short for Intervención en Casas de Niños Indígenas.
The Mexican society is divided because people feel inferior belonging to an indigenous ethnic group. A possible solution to this problem are organizations that exist in Mexico, such as Fundación Patrimonio Indígena MX, which one of their main purposes is to change the mentality from Mexicans to make them feel proud of where they come from. This way, we can preserve the indigenous culture. Because of discrimination and racism, indigenous groups and languages have become extinct. This led us to lose part of our culture.